What's cracking, everyone? Football Manager Tony here with the 13th episode of the Super Group series. In this episode we will do a review of what's happened in March. We will have a look at the fixtures, the highlights of the games, maybe some transfers, and like always. As you can see right there, we got Tottenham in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. If we beat them, we will most likely play Arsenal in the semi-final. So both of the games are kind of a London derby, which is very interesting. But before the clash versus Tottenham, we had to play Manchester City in the Premier League, which is always a very tough fixture, especially when they are playing at the Etihad. As you probably could tell by the lineup, I wanted to win this game at any cost. I chose to play Walter Montiel in his favourite role right behind the striker, and after this game I was convinced. He is one of the best central attacking midfielders in the Premier League. I've seen a lot of great goals in Football Manager, but this goal right here might take the biscuit. Here you can see Allen releases the Kraken from about 25 yards out. That is a very special goal by the underrated midfielder. What a goal. But as you all know, most teams do struggle to keep a clean sheet against Manchester City, and we were no exception. Here you can see Carlos Tevez scores in the 17th minute. A bit of a shitty goal if you ask me. But we managed to hold them off and we won the game 2-1. We had 7 shots, 3 of them on target and 49% possession. As you can see, we sit very comfortably in the second place, just in front of Chelsea. Unfortunately, we got 2 players injured in the game versus Manchester City. The first player was Christian Ozalde and the second player was Nicolas Lombard, who twisted his ankle and was ruled out for about 3 weeks. We then got shocked, stunned, surprised, whatever you want to call it, as Liverpool made an offer for the mate ball, including 250k. No wonder Kenny Dalglish just got sacked. Anyway, enough of that. As you can see, we then got this message saying that Areola resumes full training, and just after I got this message, I put him on the loan list just to make sure he gets some first team football in a championship side. The very exciting quarter-final of the FA Cup versus Tottenham was now just around the corner. Both lineups looked really interesting, and I knew that this would be a great game of football. Even though it was a great match, there was only 1 goal scored, and thankfully it was James Vaughan who scored it for us. Him and Yaya Sanogo are working really well together, and I just can't wait till Carlos Fierro joins in the summer. Well, yeah, like I said, it was a very enjoyable game and I thought we played outstanding. We created a lot of chances and we kept a clean sheet, and all in all a great performance. Unfortunately, our players keep hurting themselves during the games, and this time it was Jano's turn to be unlucky. He's out for about 5 weeks whilst treated. We then made an offer for the player who probably impressed the most in the quarter-final versus Tottenham. We made an offer for Yunus Kabul, including 3.5 million. I actually got surprised when both Tottenham and Kabul accepted the offers. 3.5 million isn't too much, and 30k a week for a player of Kabul's calibre isn't too much at all. Alan Zagowa was now back from his 6-week-long injury, which made it a lot easier to pick the lineup versus the Whites. It is always very tough to play against Fulham, and when they are playing at the Craven Cottage, the games tend to be very hard. It was, as expected, a very tight game, but thankfully we could put the ball in the back of the net after just 6 minutes. I have to admit that Fulham created more chances than we did, but we took our chances, and I think that is the most important thing. We eventually killed the game off with this little cheeky goal. Just have a look at that pass, just as good as Xabi Alonso, and that technique from Yaya Sanogo is just top class. Great goal. Fulham actually did manage to pull one back though, but it was never enough to even make us worry. But if you have a look at the stats, you can see that they probably were the side who created the most. Well, like I said, we took our chances and that did pay off. It was now 3 games left in the month of March. The first one was against Blackburn at home at Loftus Road in the Premier League. As Blackburn was lying in the bottom of the table, I thought that I'd take the chance to experiment a bit with the side, play some players that usually doesn't play in the first team, and yeah, like I said, experiment a bit. The game itself was very special in the way that both sides got 1 player sent off. Blackburn got Scott Dann sent off, and we've got James Vaughan sent off. Well, please don't ask me why James Vaughan got sent off, because I really do not know. I don't think the referee knows either. I don't think anyone knows. You know, he just felt like it, you know, James Vaughan, he already has a yellow card, and there, he just gives it, and look at it! He just stops running! He runs! And he stops, and what the fuck? Why is he receiving a second yellow card? I don't fucking know. But one thing I do know is that we won the game with 1-0, even though it was an awful game to watch. So, 3 points in the bag, happy days, let's forget about this game. By the way, that rhymed, didn't it? What game, day, bag? No, it didn't. Stoke was our next opponent, and just before that game, we sold DJ Campbell to Portsmouth for 60k spread over 48 months. And you can actually tell that Pompey is in deep shit when it comes to finances, because if you have to spread 60 grand over 48 months, you know, your finances are insecure. It was then time for the game versus my club, the Mighty Potters. And as I know Stoke inside out, you know, the way they're playing and all that, I was pretty confident that we were going to win this game. I told my players to be patient, keep the ball on the floor, maybe do some through balls, run behind the defensive line and all that. And that's exactly what the first goal is all about. I really like this goal, and you know, Yaya Sanogo, what a player. He just, you know, his technique, his finishing at the age of 19, just absolutely incredible. I really like the second goal as well. And then you can see De Las Cuevas, you know, what a player he really is. I bought him for 1.3 million, and I just can't believe how well he has, you know, adapted to the Premier League. You know, I don't think he has played one bad game since he's been here, so I absolutely love this guy. Unfortunately, the inexperienced defender Giuseppe Prestia fouled Peter Crouch inside the penalty area, and that really is a penalty, you know, so I couldn't complain or anything, and it is quite a good penalty as well. But Fabianski actually was really close to save that one. And after Stoke scored their penalty, I am pretty sure I could hear Tony Pulis scream, "Overload! Overload!" from the sideline. So that is why the defenders are pressing so high. But, you know, Mackie still missed. But Shotton and Houthi, what are you doing? And, you know, De Las Cuevas, he takes every chance he gets. But, you know, I thought we played outstanding, and we dealt with Stoke's playing style really well. We had 25 shots, 15 on target and 60% possession. With 30 games played, we are sitting in second place with 69 points, 2 points in front of Liverpool and Chelsea. It was now one game left of March, the match versus Newcastle. But just before the clash versus the Magpies, West Ham offered Ravel Morrison for 600k. I know he isn't like outstanding like he was before, you know, before when he played for Manchester United everyone was like, oh, Ravel Morrison, he will turn into the new Messi. But, you know, he's still very good. He's got 16 dribbling, 20 flair, and he's quite quick as well. You know, I buy him for 600k and I'll sell him for 10 million, no, maybe not 10 million, but at least 8 million, maybe 10 million for in a few years, so I'm pretty happy with this signing, to be honest. But like I said, this was just before the game versus Newcastle, and it was now time for the actual game. Nicolas Zumbat was now back from his injury, and James Vaughan was back from his very strange ban, so both of them was a part of the lineup. Like in so many other games, we played better in the first half than in the second half. We keep the ball within the team, we create chances, and we also probably score, and that was exactly the case in this match. The first goal of the game was scored by Malte Montillo in the 34th minute. Then just a few minutes after the second half began, Fabrizio Colaccini tackled James Vaughan very ugly with both of his feet, and he got sent off. So the sending off of the Magpies' skipper obviously made it a lot easier for us, and in the 93rd minute Yaya Sanogo could score 2-0. Game over. I always enjoy playing Newcastle, and I thought we played really well this game. We are now unbeaten for 3 months, which I think is a great achievement. Well, that was it for this episode, everyone. We sit in second place with 72 points with 1 game in hand over Liverpool. I really hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, that would help me out a lot. Comment if you have any thoughts of the episode, and you know, if you have any questions or whatever. Yeah, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this episode, and I will see you next time. Ta-da!